Hey there everyone, Giratina70 here, and you might be noticing that this is not a video game video, because I thought I'd do something a little bit different today. Today is the 25th anniversary of the release of Pokemon Red and Green in Japan, and with the Pokemon Company doing all of their 25th anniversary celebrations, I thought I'd do something on my own channel for the 25th anniversary. So here is my 25 favorite Pokemon over the last 25 years. Some restrictions apply, obviously. I am not including any starter Pokemon, so there's going to be no Charizards or no Greninjas or anything like that. There's going to be no pseudo-legendary, so no Dragonites or anything like that. And there's going to be no legendaries. And I could do a separate list on legendaries, but for now I'm going to be doing my 25 favorite Pokemon that are not of those types. So without further ado, let's get into it. Number 25. If you had asked me to do this list a few years ago, Steelix probably wouldn't have been on this list. I just did not really care that much for Steelix, and then over the years, it's gradually become one of my favorites. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm a huge fan of snakes, and I mean a steel snake. I mean, how much cooler can you get than that? I don't have a lot of video game memories with this thing. I just haven't used it in video games a lot. I could use it in the Gen 4 games if I went through them, but yeah, I don't have too many video game memories of it. I just really like its design. That's the main reason I like it. Of course, in the anime, I have memories of it as Brock's main Pokemon after he evolved it from an Onix. And I mean, that smile when he reunites with Brock after he traveled in the Battle Frontier. Oh my god, that is like, oh, that's such a great smile. But yeah, that's my main anime memory of it. Megaform, not a huge fan of it. There's just too much going on there. I prefer the original one. But anyway, Steelix, yes, number 25 on this list. Number 24. Like Steelix, Crobat also wouldn't have been on this list if I had done it a few years ago. I was just very indifferent towards Crobat, but it's actually now ahead of Steelix, and there's a few reasons for that. First of all, it's a bat with 4 wings. I mean, you can't get much more cool than that. And I also have game memories of it. I've used it in a playthrough of Silver and also a playthrough of Leaf Green. And I've got some anime memories with it. I mean, Brock also had one of these. Evolved from his Zubat that he caught in the Kanto region in Mount Moon. And this will not be the last reference of Mount Moon in this video. But he evolved it into Crobat in the Johto region, and I mean, it's one of his main Pokemon there, so you kind of saw it a lot. I believe Crobat would be so cool with some sort of upgraded form, whether it's a Mega or a Gigantamax or whatever gimmick they come up with in the future. But unfortunately, that doesn't exist right now, but maybe it might in the future. Who knows? I mean, they might give more love to Johto Pokemon. I feel like Johto Pokemon are the ones that get a bit of the rough treatment, but maybe that'll change in the future. But anyways, Crobat, number 24 on this list. Number 23. Delmas for me represents a very happy time in my life. Before 2016, I had never traveled out of my home province of Ontario. But in the summer of 2016, I was invited to travel to the Maritimes, which included Nova Scotia. And that was one of the most enjoyable times of my life. And one of the things that I associated with that trip were anchors. And what do you know, shortly after, they revealed an anchor Pokemon, and that was Delmas. And Delmas is such a cool Pokemon. I love the triple stab idea. I just wish they'd do it on something that was a little bit faster in the future, but the idea is so cool. And the game memories I have, I've used it in Moon and Ultra Moon, and I remember having to travel to the Seafolk village to find it, and then you find it just outside of that one Steelix-shaped hut, and unless you look this up, I don't know how you could figure this out in the game, but you have to walk through, just walking through the Steelix hut to make the bubbly patch of fishing area appear and that increases the odds of finding Delmas from 1% to 10%. And even with 10%, it was still an absolute pain in the ass to find one. It took me forever to find one. In Moon, that is. In Ultra Moon, I believe it only took me one try. But, yeah, it's so cool in a lot of ways. And also it has an anime appearance, but I've never seen that episode. So, moving on. Number 22. Flygon is hands down the biggest fast riser on this list. Even 2 years ago, it wouldn't have been on this list. It wasn't that I disliked it. I actually liked Flygon, but I didn't like it that much. But over the last 2 years, it has absolutely rocketed up my list. And I don't really have a specific reason why. It looks cool. It's green. Green is my favorite color. It's a dragon. And I mean, it's just so cool. And I have used it in a playthrough of Emerald. Emerald is my favorite Pokemon game of all of them. So I've played Emerald a lot of times. And my biggest anime memory of Flygon is definitely Jirachi Wishmaker and the Flygon that appears in Farina. And it helps Ash and Max defeat Butler and stop his nefarious schemes. And I don't think there's any other Flygon that's as memorable as that one. And of course, everyone is really distraught that Flygon didn't get a Mega Evolution, myself included. I believe that they wanted to make one for X and Y, but unfortunately, artist block came into play and it prevented that from happening. But maybe in the future we'll get some sort of upgraded Flygon, because Flygon is a Pokemon that has also not stood the test of time. Its stats have become too mediocre, and yeah, it's been outclassed. But it's still a really cool Pokemon, and it definitely deserves to be on this list for me. And I'll probably get a lot of usage out of it over the coming years. But anyways, yeah, Flygon, number 22 on this list. Number 21. When the Pokemon for Sword and Shield were being revealed, I was immediately drawn to Corviknight. I mean, its coolness factor was just way off the charts, and I was fully convinced that this thing was going to end up being one of my top 10 favorite Pokemon. Unfortunately, it's lost a little bit of that initial luster, but it was always going to be on this list. Like, it's just way too cool to not be on this list. It's a black metallic vulture-like creature, and it's just so cool. And I think there's a lot of comparisons with this thing to Skarmory, but it plays a little bit differently than Skarmory. Skarmory is basically used as a pure defensive tank. Corviknight is normally used as an endgame sweeper that's really tough to break because it can use Roost. In my playthrough of Sword, as well as competitively, I use Corviknight mostly as utility Pokemon with Tailwind and Brave Bird and just a whole bunch of moves that can be tailored to whatever I want to face. But anyways, also it has a couple of anime appearances, but unfortunately I don't know much about those anime appearances because it's such a new Pokemon and I haven't gotten around to watching it. So anyways, yeah, Corviknight was always going to be on this list because it's so cool, and I'm sure that I'll have more usage of it in the future. Number 20. Perhaps the first surprise on this list. You might not expect me to like Gardevoir, but Gardevoir is an awesome Pokemon. It's a Psychic type, of course, and I'll take this opportunity to say that Psychic is my favorite type. There are actually quite a few Psychic Pokemon in this list, and Gardevoir is the first one. The first time that I ever used Gardevoir was in Pokemon Ruby, and it was in my very first playthrough of Pokemon Ruby. And it was really useful in those games. I mean, it's just got such high special attack, and it's so graceful looking, and I really enjoyed using it. I know that Diantha uses a Gardevoir in the anime, and that's probably my main anime memory of it. Yeah, there's not much else to say about Gardevoir. I also really like its Mega Evolution. I mean, if you wanted the Pokemon representation of a waifu, Mega Gardevoir is absolutely that. I'd probably say it's more so than Mega Diancie, because at least Gardevoir looks human. And I guess if things don't go right in life, I guess I could just marry Mega Gardevoir. Yeah, moving on. Number 19. A lot of the Pokemon in Gen 6 didn't really wow me a lot. Sure, I liked quite a few of them, but there weren't a lot of them that just really wowed me. Except for one, and that was Heliolisk. Heliolisk was hands down my favorite Pokemon in Gen 6. I mean, I love lizards, and it's a frilled lizard based off solar panels. That's a really cool design aspect. And one of my favorite aspects of Heliolisk is that it works very well in 3 different weathers. It works really well in rain with dry skin. It works really well in sun with solar power. And it can work really well in sand with Sand Veil, which is very unique and something that makes me like it even more. Personally, my first playthrough with it in Pokemon Y, I used the dry skin ability to combo with some to do some rain combos, and that worked out really well. And I also remember using it in a tournament with solar power to go alongside Mega Charizard Y, so that was pretty cool. And my absolute favorite anime memory of it is under the ownership of Clement, and I will never forget when Clement returned to the Lumiose gym to try to regain ownership from the defective Clembot. And Heliolisk was just so happy to see him, even though he was under the ownership of Clembot. It was so beautiful, and I loved it so much. And nothing, I mean nothing, is ever going to diminish that smile of Heliolisk. Oh, it's so beautiful. But anyways, yeah, Heliolisk definitely was going to be on this list. It's an epic Pokemon, and I can't wait to use it again. Number 18. I had always been a fan of the Porygon line right back down to Red and Blue, but when they made Porygon Z, that that pushed me over the edge. Porygon Z is just such a really weird Pokemon, and that's something I've been identified with, is liking weird, odd Pokemon, and Porygon Z is the poster child for weirdness. I have to say Porygon Z is probably the Pokemon that is probably the glitchiest, obviously. It's literally Porygon 2 as if it got infected with Missing No, and I could just imagine it crashing games, but thank God it doesn't do that. My first time using Porygon Z was in Pokemon Platinum version, and be prepared to hear a lot of that. 5 Pokemon that I used in my original run of Platinum are on this list, and how appropriate is that, given that they just revealed Diamond and Pearl remakes. So I'm really tempted to get the old Platinum team back together for that, but I haven't made a decision on that. And as for anime memories, unfortunately, apart from the world of Pokemon, a little snippet, there will never be an anime memory of Porygon Z because of the Electric Soldier Porygon incident, unfortunately. So yeah, one of my favorite Pokemon, I'll never have any anime memories of it because of that incident. Damn you, Pikachu! Number 17. I love cats more than a lot of things in this world, so of course there had to be a cat Pokemon in this list, and of course it had to be the OG cat, Persian. Persian is... can you think of a more iconic cat Pokemon? Because I certainly can't. Well, maybe apart from its pre-evolution Meowth, but Meowth and Persian were pretty much the OG and symbolic cat Pokemon of Pokemon. And of course, we all know Persian was owned by Giovanni in the Pokemon anime, and I mean, Meowth was always trying to battle for its attention. It was a running gag in the series, and it was quite funny at times. And yes, I do like the Alolan form. In fact, that's the first time I ever used it in a Pokemon game. I used it in Ultra Sun, And man, I know it's one of those Pokemon where you either love it or you hate it. I love it. It's so... the pudgy face is great. I just love it so much. Number 16. If you want a Pokemon that does not represent me, your best bet might be Volcarona. And that's not because of its looks, because it looks awesome. It's because it is the emblem of patience. And patience is not one of my strong suits. You have to either wait really long to get it, you have to wait really late to get it, or you have to be persistent to get it. In pretty much every game besides one. And yeah, that's not... I mean, I was able to do it in Pokemon White, which was the first time that I ever used a Volcarona. But this is a Pokemon that does not represent me in a certain way. But anyways, yeah, as I said, I used it in White, and it was really good there, and it's just really good in general, and I love the way it looks. It's based off the sun. I'm a huge astronomy fan. So that was pretty cool. And I know it has one anime appearance to my knowledge, and I've never seen it. So I don't have a lot to say about that. So we'll be moving on. Number 15. I don't know what the heck is going on with the picture, but I like the way it looks, so I'm keeping it anyways. But anyways, yeah, Magnazone, like Porygon Z, is one of those weird-looking Pokemon that I just really like. It's an evolution, of course, of one of the Gen 1 Pokemon, that being Magneton, and I just really like the way it looks. I love Steel-type Pokemon that look like machines, and I mean, this thing is... it also looks like a flying saucer, so that's pretty cool. The first time I used Magnazone in a game was actually all the way in Sun version, and there's maybe a reason why I didn't use it earlier, but I used Magneton a lot beforehand. But Magnazone, the first time I used it was Sun, and it was really good there. And of course, in the anime, it was Zero's main Pokemon in the movie Giratina and the Sky Warrior. And, I mean, it's the best Pokemon to ride on for sure, because it can float in the air. How does it not have Levitate? I have no idea. Albeit that would probably make it even better than what it really is. But yeah, Magnazone, really cool looking Pokemon. Love the mechanical design. And I'm probably going to be using it quite a bit in the future. Number 14. Sharpedo is a weird case on this list because I don't have any like pinpoint reasons for liking Sharpedo. I've never really used it in games, mainly because there's another water type on this list that takes all the glory, as well as another water type a couple spots ahead of Sharpedo. I don't have very many anime memories of it, and I like sharks, but I don't really have a specific reason why I like sharks. But on the other hand, Sharpedo is such an epic looking Pokemon. It's a rogue shark. That's really cool. And the nickname the Bully of the Sea is super cool. And I love the Mega Evolution. The Mega Evolution based off a Sawfish is so awesome. And I really wish there was a game where I could use Sharpedo in without using the ultimate water type on this list. But unfortunately, Sharpedo has kind of been left in the dust, but it was never not going to be on this list because I just like Sharpedo. I don't really know why. I just like Sharpedo. Number 13. Unlike Corviknight, Sandaconda was not a Pokemon that I was immediately like wowed and drawn to, but as Sword and Shield became more developed, I really started to like Sandaconda a lot more. And I saw that face that it has. It looks so depressed, and I'm like thinking, this Pokemon needs a friend, and I'm going to be that friend. I'm going to be its best friend. And of course, Sandaconda is in the top 15, so obviously I've been a pretty good friend to it. And it's a really, really interesting Pokemon. Sandspit is a great ability. Preventing other weather from going up because you attacked Sandaconda, that's really good. And the design of it being coiled up, almost like sort of like a cannon. I'm not sure if there's another way to relate that, but how it constricts itself to shoot sand is really interesting. And the not the Mega Evolution, the Gigantamax form of a sand tornado, a dust devil, is really cool. Really cool. And the face now looks angry, and it looks like it has like a shotgun barrel type nose. I mean, it's just such a cool design. And my first memory of using it in the games was, of course, in Sword. And unfortunately, it hasn't appeared in the anime yet. So no anime memories yet. Number 12. Continuing on the trend of liking weird Pokemon, Starmie is next up. I know Starmie is based off a living creature and obviously starfish, but it's... Since when have you seen a starfish with a gem in the middle? The answer is you never do, except if it's Staryu, or its evolution, of course, Starmie. And Starmie is a Pokemon that I have used only one time in the games, again, because there's another water type on this list that really takes all the glory. I used it in White 2 version when this water type that I'm referring to was not available in the Pokedex. So Starmie was next up, and I loved using Starmie there. And it's just a really good, cool-looking Pokemon. And, of course, Misty in the anime owns a Starmie, and it's her signature Pokemon. And she never really used it that much, though. She always preferred Staryu, and I could never understand why. It's probably just an anime thing. But, yeah, Starmie is a really cool Pokemon. And it would be quite humorous if it got a Mega Evolution. Mega Starmie? What would you do? Like, just put more stars on the back of it? It would almost more look like a circle than a star. But anyways, that's hypothetical, so we're not going to get into it. But anyways, yeah, Starmie is a really awesome Pokemon, and it was going to be on this list because of that. And I hope to use it in the future, but unfortunately, that other water type is probably going to steal Starmie's spotlight a lot. But Starmie, number 12 on this list. Number 11. This Pokemon is really cool. I mean, I don't have enough words to describe how... wait, what the heck? Why are you doing this to me again? Oh, lift that disguise there. If you haven't guessed by now, the next Pokemon on this list is the illusion Pokemon, Zoroark. And Zoroark is a really cool Pokemon. It's actually the first Pokemon that you needed to get via an event that wasn't a mythical. And that's really unique. And that's how you got it in Black and White. And that's how I originally got it in my first playthrough of White version. And it was really cool there. And it was really useful there. I mean, the illusion ability just caused so much pre-game hype. Because they thought people would think it would be overpowered. As for anime memories of it, I know it appeared in its own movie, Zoroark Master Evolutions, but my anime memory of it is the Black and White episode on the Decalore Islands. I mean, I have not seen too many anime episodes that were more heartwarming than that one. If you haven't checked it out, please do. It's a great episode. But anyways, yeah, Zoroark, really awesome Pokemon, really unique Pokemon, and I love unique Pokemon, and I hope to use it again in the future. And hopefully it doesn't pull any more pranks like it just did there. Number 10. I decided to use the red and blue picture for this Pokemon because it is the oldest picture, and how appropriate is that for a fossil Pokemon? But yeah, Aerodactyl is far and away my favorite fossil Pokemon. It's one of the OG fossil Pokemon, and I mean, it's so cool. It's based off a pterodactyl, and that's really awesome. And of course, in the games, I have used it in a playthrough of Pokemon Red. It's hard to use, though, in the games because you usually get it at a low level or very late in the game. So I haven't really used it in too many games. And as for anime memories, of course, who can forget Attack of the Prehistoric Pokemon, the episode in the Indigo League series where Aerodactyl very nicely taunts Ash's Charmeleon, which makes it evolve into Charizard. And I will use this face against anyone who pisses me off and just to taunt them back. Oh man, like this is the best thing to send to any of those people who piss you off on social media. Just send them this face and they will shut up. Number 9. Now we're getting into big name territory here with Exeggutor, one of the biggest names from the original games, and even in Gold and Silver it was really good. It's a coconut tree with 3 heads, very weird, and that suits me perfectly. The first time that I ever used Exeggutor was in Pokemon Red version, and I also used it in Crystal version as well as Fire Red version. So yeah, and also I forgot, I also used it in my first playthrough of Soul Silver version. How could I forget that? But of course, the first anime memory I have of it is March of the Exeggutor Squad, when that incompetent magician wanted to get a whole bunch of Exeggutor to hypnotize people to watch his show. Unfortunately, he was so incompetent that he got them all to hypnotize themselves, and they almost destroyed the town until Ash's Charmander saved the day. As for the Alolan form, I mean, that face that the original Exeggutor made is definitely how I felt when the Alolan form was revealed. And I went on to use the Alolan form in Pokemon Moon, and it was really fun to use. I mean, it's just so zany. It's so beautifully zany. Can't go wrong there. And Samson Oak owns one in the anime there, and, well, Samson Oak is even more zany than Alolan Exeggutor, so I guess it's a perfect match. Number 8. I liked Roselia, but when they made Roserade, I absolutely loved it. I am a huge fan of roses, and it looks like a rose bandit, and I mean, that's pretty sweet. And Roserade is actually a pretty good Pokemon, and it's a really cool Pokemon, as I said. My first playthrough, or my first time using it in a playthrough, was in Pokemon Platinum version, of course, and that's the second mention of the Platinum team. And I also used it in my first playthrough of Pokemon Y. So it's gotten some good usage over the years. In the anime, of course, Nando had one in the Sinnoh adventures, as well as Drew. You actually see that his Roselia from the Hoenn League evolved into a Roserade. You never really see the Roserade in action, but yeah, so 2 of Pokemon Coordinator's rivals had Roserades, and I will never understand how James did not end up getting a Roserade, because he always is associated with roses. He always holds one. He's always associated with them. I mean, I don't get it. Why did James never have a Roserade? Especially when he had all sorts of painful grass types. I mean, a Roserade would have been so perfect for him. But alas, that's not going to happen. Number 7. WobbaFett. Yes, it's WobbaFett. Hands down, the most comedic Pokemon of all time. Yeah, WobbaFett, its design is just pure comedy gold. It's based off a punching bag. Like, who came up with that idea? That is so good. I have never used it in the games, mainly because it is really difficult to use in single player. It is absolutely busted in multiplayer. Like, there's a reason it got banned from many official Pokemon tournaments, because it's so good. The combination of Shadow Tag with the Counter Coat combination and Encore is ridiculous. And everyone knows the anime memories of it. It's Jesse's Pokemon. Hands down, the most seen Pokemon besides Meowth and Pikachu. And it is... it drives Jesse nuts. And it's a beautiful thing. And one of the reasons I think the black and white anime might not have been as good was no WobbaFett. WobbaFett was perfect comic relief, and I hope they never get rid of it from Jesse again, because that was a huge mistake initially. Number 6. Weavile is a Pokemon that perfectly represents me. A mischievous, devious, sneaky Pokemon. I love being mischievous and devious with my friends, especially when I surprise them. It is one of my favorite things to do. It makes me feel good, and I love seeing the reactions of other people. And it is the third member of the legendary Pokemon Platinum team, and it was really useful there. And I also used it to help me get 2 shiny Pokemon through the Poke Radar, one of the most tedious and long methods of finding a shiny Pokemon. And it was super useful, also because it was higher than level 60 to ward off the roaming legendary Pokemon. As for anime memories, I definitely remember it in the 8th Pokemon movie, Lucario and the Mystery of Mew, as the duo of Weavile under the ownership of Kid Summers, who were completely incompetent in putting a tracking device on Mew, so they were really, really difficult to command. And Kid Summers' epic quote was, "I should send you both to obedience school." Such a great quote. But yeah, also Weavile appeared in an anime episode with a whole bunch of Sneasel and Weavile, and that was a pretty cool episode. So yeah, also this is where the bridge is to the Dream Team. The Dream Team is a group of Pokemon that I will always use competitively. Weavile is kind of on the fence. I've debated many times being on that Dream Team. Not quite there yet, but maybe with the Diamond and Pearl remakes, it'll finally get there. Hopefully, because Weavile is an epic Pokemon. Number 5. Scorch is the first true member of the Dream Team. When I saw Scorch for the first time, when Sword and Shield was being leaked gradually, I loved Scorch, especially the Gigantamax form. It was unbelievably cool. It looks like a snake centipede ribbon. It looks so awesome. G-Max Centiferno is it's an awesome move. I love that it traps both opponents in Fire Spin, and Scorch, especially when Gigantamaxed, is bulky enough to take the hits. And after it loses its Gigantamax, I could just use Leech Life to drain the HP back up. It's super good. The first time that I ever used Scorch was, of course, Sword version, both in-game and competitively. And yeah, like, it is an awesome Pokemon. Also, it has one anime appearance, but it's such a new Pokemon. I have not gotten around to watching that anime appearance, so I don't know anything about it. All of my memories of Scorch are within the games. Also, within the games, Gigantamax Scorch was a pain in the ass to catch for me, or it was actually more of a pain in the ass to find, and it took me ages to get one, and I'm so glad that I was able to get one, because it's an awesome Pokemon and a member of the Dream Team. Number 4. My favorite psychic Pokemon, and probably the most legendary psychic Pokemon that isn't legendary, Alakazam. IQ of 5,000 and destroyer of ice cream. Alakazam is an awesome Pokemon. Who needs muscles when you've got mental powers and psychic powers like that? Alakazam, the first time that I used Alakazam was my very first playthrough of Red version. I loved it there. I still love it now. I also used it in Soul Silver. And of course, it is a member of the Dream Team. I actually prefer the original Alakazam to Mega Alakazam. I like Mega Alakazam, but I think it's a little bit overdone. I understand where they were going with it, but I'm not as much of a fan as I was of normal Alakazam. And as for anime memories of it, surprisingly, my main anime memory of it is under the ownership of Eusine in the episode for Ho-Oh the Bell Tolls, where he tried to use it to disable Suicune from running away, but of course it failed because it's freaking Suicune, and that's not going to work. But maybe I remember that super well because that episode is one of my absolute favorite episodes of Pokemon. It's a great great episode. But I feel like in the anime, Alakazam kind of got shafted in favor of Abracadabra. That's just my perception. It might not even be backed up by evidence, but that's just my perception. But anyways, Alakazam, epic Pokemon. Favorite psychic type for sure. Probably the most notable psychic type that exists that isn't legendary. And a very, very proud member of the Dream Team. Number 3. When I tell people that I like Clefable, there's a few surprised looks because you might not expect me to like Clefable after all of these cool, like badass looking Pokemon. And then you've got a big pink fairy Pokemon. But Clefable is one of my absolute favorite Pokemon. I use it in every Gen 1 playthrough, as well as the remakes. Yeah, the first time that I used it in a playthrough was my very first playthrough of Pokemon Yellow version. And every time I play a Kanto game, as I said, I usually end up picking up a Clefable. Or a Clefairy in Mount Moon and then evolving it into Clefable pretty much immediately, honestly, because all the moves I want to teach it are through TMs. And, of course, a member of the Dream Team again, and I love it because it's so versatile. The unaware ability is my preference to stop setup sweepers, and I can use it to tank certain huge threats, and it's super useful there. As for anime memories, Clefairy and the Moonstone. Can't go much further than that. Seeing Clefairy and Clefable in the anime like that was super great. And it's one of the earliest episodes of Pokemon, so it is super, super nostalgic for people. And one other thing I want to say about Clefable is that I remember I was using it in a battle, in the battle tree, I believe, and a Glaceon froze it, and I could still see its happy face, so it got the nickname for me of Happy Face. And what a perfect nickname for such a happy, bouncy Pokemon. Clefable, I love you. You are so amazing, and I will never, ever get rid of you. Number 2. Rotom for me is true versatility and true awesomeness in that way too. Rotom has 6 different forms, 1 normal and 5 appliance forms. And it's another Pokemon that represents mischievousness, deviousness, and sneakiness. So that's a perfect match for me. First time I ever used it was actually in Pokemon Pearl. I managed to catch it in the old chateau, and I loved it from the moment I got it. And of course, it is a member of the OG Platinum team, the 4th of 5 members, which means that the last member was a member of that team as well. But you'll see that in just a moment. But anyways, Rotom is a great Pokemon. It basically fills gaps in my team. Whenever I was missing, say, a fire type or a grass type or anything like that, Rotom would be there to fill it up. And you better believe I have used a full Rotom team with all 6 forms, all playing a different role. And it's so useful because of Levitate. It removes the ubiquitous ground weakness and makes it harder to counter each individual one. And as for anime memories of it, I can remember it Get Your Rotom Running, the episode in the Diamond and Pearl anime, as well as under the ownership of Professor Oak. And just like Ash's Muck, he is such a troll to Professor Oak. It is beautiful. But anyways, Rotom is my second favorite Pokemon, and that will never change. Nothing will ever push Rotom away from number 2. Number 1. Anyone who knows me even a little bit knows just how much the Pokemon Gyarados means to me. Gyarados is my favorite Pokemon of all, and that will never, ever change. Gyarados is a Pokemon that in whatever medium it is in, whether it be anime, the games, the cards, whatever, Gyarados is my absolute favorite Pokemon. And The first playthrough I ever used a Gyarados in was my first playthrough of Pokemon Crystal, but every single generation that comes out, the first playthrough, I will use a Gyarados. Doesn't matter if the rest of the Pokemon on the team are new to that generation. Doesn't matter if I'll have 2 water types. Doesn't matter. Gyarados will be used. So I've used it in every single first playthrough of a generation, as well as a lot of repeat playthroughs of a generation. Gyarados is just that meaningful to me. And of course, it has a lot of anime appearances, from the red Gyarados in the anime to Misty's Gyarados to Lance's Gyarados to whatever. There are so many awesome Gyarados in the anime. And even the Mega Gyarados, it is super awesome. I love to affectionately call it Mega Shrimp because it kind of looks like a shrimp. But Mega Gyarados is just as epic as the original Gyarados. And as I said, it will remain my favorite Pokemon for the rest of eternity. Thank you, Gyarados, for so many great memories of Pokemon. I love you so much. Anyways, that is my 25 favorite Pokemon over the last 25 years. I hope you enjoyed the list. Sorry if it was a little bit rambly, but I've never done anything like this, so I hope you could bear with me. And here's to 25 more years of Pokemon greatness. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of my content, and I'll see you guys for whatever comes next time.